What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Verbal Garbage coming at you hot and live. Today, we're jumping back on the solo train. Got some momentum coming off of, doing the weekend sports football recap, mainly just so I can talk my shit about the NFL and get my thoughts and takes out there. But pretty not in my life obviously, but pretty eventful last week and a half as far as current events and sporting events and news and topics. So should be able to really make a dent today in some topics. But kind of wanted to get started off with just I don't know how many fans out there combat world, combat sports, but I call myself a purist, big mixed martial arts fan, casual boxing fan. I watch the big fights. But every once and again you'll get these little circus fights mixed in. And Dillon, Danis, and Logan Paul was exactly that. Some background information for some of the guys and girls that may not be aware. Logan Paul, former YouTuber, still a YouTuber. Very famous, him and his brother, Jake. Jake went out and started doing a little bit of boxing on his own, kind of making a little bit of a name for himself. And then Logan kind of forayed into it as well. And, he notoriously boxed Floyd Mayweather and just these like gimmicky circus fights, but they're entertaining and they get people's attention. And I'm one of those, guys that will get very excited about something like that. And I will be tuned in. So Logan Paul, big time YouTuber, really famous celebrity, entrepreneur. He's got his Prime Energy drink now. His partner with the Prime Energy drink is that British YouTuber named KSI. He was also boxing in this event, so it was like a Prime card, if you will. Dillon Danis, on the other hand, he has a background in jiu-jitsu. He got very famous from being Conor McGregor in Conor McGregor's training camp. So again, if you guys aren't aware, Conor McGregor is a humongous superstar in the UFC, probably the biggest star there. And when you do training camps and fighting, you have different people specialized to help you with each art, right? So you got this guy was a world champion boxer, and this guy was a college all-American wrestler, and this guy did Muay Thai, and this guy's a jiu-jitsu, and you get a little bit of each of the artist to kind of explain the craft in detail, right? So Dillon's known for his jiu-jitsu acumen. Very much not known for his MMA or his stand-up skills. So he has a fight or two in Bellator, hasn't fought. Bellator is like the C or the D league compared to the UFC. Just trying to fill you guys in with as much context here. So Logan and Dillon had a fight. Obviously they were going to hype it up. So on social media, Dillon's coming at Logan's fiance, who was a former Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, Miss Nina Agdal, if I'm saying that correctly. And Dillon is just making it his mission to go on social media and just disparage this marriage any means necessary. The smear campaign was off and running very quickly, posting pictures of her, deleted pictures, just a bunch. I mean, it got a little out of control, right? So this is not something that Mr. Logan took to very kindly. So there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lawsuit that was pending, and oh God, I got another whatever. So essentially the lead up for the fight was being toyed around and compromised with it. Logan was gonna sue Dillon and Dillon wasn't gonna show up. Whatever the case may be, the fight ended up happening kind of like we all thought, a mockery, but I wanted to see what was gonna happen. Dillon just stood the whole time, like elbow out, playing a high guard, not doing anything, not throwing barely any punches. Logan's throwing some punches. Gets to the point where Dillon is a very common jiu-jitsu practice. You go on your back and you're trying to initiate them coming to the ground, which Logan wants none of, obviously. And then at another point in the fight, he goes for a double leg takedown. Granted, this is a boxing match, so all this grappling is completely illegal. Went for a double leg, got stuffed. And then he went for like a guillotine attempt in one little scramble, and Logan shook it off. Dillon went to his back, and then Logan tried to hammer fist him while he was down. Security rushed. Fight was ended. Just a mockery. Didn't watch the main event. At the time the fight was on, I was simultaneously watching UFC on the big screen, the gay little fight on my phone, and There were much better caliber fights on UFC, obviously, and right after the fact, I was just ashamed that I diverted my attention to that and paid more attention. So, overall, the rumors about the pay-per-view buys are pretty astronomical. It definitely, the trolling and the shit talking definitely worked. But I love drama. My whole thing here is like the reality television and the mixed martial arts or the combat sports world are kind of combining forces. And if you know anything about me, reality TV junkie extraordinaire. So just trying to pile up my things. But moving on from that, we'll go into the baseball realm. I haven't covered too much of the Phillies right now, but let's cover them. um, the run they're on right now is nothing short of unbelievable. I mean, this was reminiscent of the 2007, 2008 era Philadelphia Phillies with that unbelievable lineup that they had and the fun bullpen, the good starting pitchers, and I just can't help but notice a lot of parallels to these teams. 2 years ago, not much. There was potential, there were some moves being made, and we knew that maybe this team could be built into contender, but we weren't sure. After I think 2010 was like our last really, maybe 11, really good year, and then we really started fizzling out and years of rebuild and empty Citizens Bank Park and just a rough era, much like how the similar process to what the Sixers endured with their process era. I'm not even going to cover the Sixers; what a waste of time. But the Phillies, they get into the wild card round, play the Miami Marlins, beat them 2-0, move on and play our dreaded rival Atlanta Braves, who are the last couple of years just dominating the regular season, definitely outperforming us in the regular season, head to head and overall. The records, speak for themselves. I think the Braves had 102 or 104 wins. Work cut out for us. Great starting pitching, an absolute lineup that is just feared by all. And Phillies beat them 3-1, and it didn't really look all that hard. You had one moment in the Citizens Bank Park when Arcia was the Braves player was on the sideline or on the dugout doing the nana nana boo boo thing and just looking ridiculous. And it's so satisfying when you play a team that's just doing all these antics like that, and then you just take them out as the lower seed division rival. So that was awesome. On the other coast, the Dodgers, who were just a team that I don't know why, since I was watching them since I was younger, they do strike some fear into me for whatever reason. And I was monitoring their series very closely from afar, if you will. And they got eliminated by the D-backs. So on one hand, I'm super excited. We don't have to play the Dodgers, but then it's like the great unknown. I don't know too much about the D-backs. I admittedly do not watch a ton of baseball. I'm obviously not a front runner, but when the Phillies are doing well, I am all in. When they're not so much. This year, was able to stream a bunch of their games. I followed the regular season. Same thing with last year. And baseball is one of those things, it's you get a fun, exciting team like the Phils, and some people think it's a boring sport, but when you watch a team like this, it's extremely exciting. So fresh off a 10-0 win last night against the D-backs, 2 wins away from the World Series, going to Arizona starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday are the games, 5:00, 8:00, 8:00. 5:07, 8:07, 8:07, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we're going to jump right into it. We're 2 wins away from the World Series, guys. And your boy was real close to booking a ticket for Monday night, going to that game. Hindsight's always 2020. Maybe would have been nice if I could have gone, but sometimes these things work out for a reason. And the World Series tickets are, to say they're in motion would be an understatement. Your boy's all but got his ticket secured. We just got to get the flight worked out. Now, we're not getting ahead. We're not looking past the Diamondbacks. They still are tremendous opponent. We're going back to their home field, so anything can happen. But the thoughts of me going to my first ever World Series game have got me a little juiced up, a little jazzed up. So forgive me for being a little excited. Yeah. So like the plan right now would be, my sweet little nephew Bobby, who's like a little brother to me, and then his dad, Bob, who's like literally a brother to me. Like brother-in-law, literally brother. Um, we're going to a game, I'm thinking, and Bobby's birthday is the 31st of October. Mine is the 30th. We're dabbling with potentially, a little bit of day golf for one of our birthdays and a World Series game at night to cap it off. So, life throws you it's curveballs, guys. Just like Nolan last night with that knuckle curve, it was dialed in. Sometimes life's curveballs are really got some break and you're all over the place, and then just a little moment like this brings you right back, and couldn't be more excited. Nothing more I'd rather do than, travel to hang out with family members. Or close friends, and we're really getting there, guys. So the problem is I got a trip scheduled up to my sister in Richmond, Virginia, Jill, to celebrate her baby's first birthday. Being that I was there for the birth of the boy, I feel it would be apropos to be there for the first birthday. All fun and good, but now we got a little conundrum on our hands with, going to Richmond and trying to figure out how we're going to get to Philly from Richmond, and if we're going to fly back to Florida and then fly to it's a nightmare, logistical headache, but we're going to work through it. It's funny talking about I still can never gloss over the fact how much I say is just it's insane. Um but obviously the Eagles were handed their first loss over the last weekend, and in the back of my head, I couldn't help but think, the Eagles sacrificed one little loss for the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles sacrificed one little loss to get the Phillies to win. We're taking it. NFC's looking somewhat stout right now as opposed to the AFC, and a couple teams that you weren't expecting. We covered that in the football show, but Eagles really got the meat of their schedule coming up right now, ladies and gents. So it's going to be interesting. Just signed Julio Jones. We're going to see how that pans out. I'm not really too optimistic on that one, but you just don't know. So, yeah, I just, like I always talk about, I have some, I guess we'll stick with football real quick. We'll go to the current events, guys, because Monday Night Football, I was obviously a little occupied with the Phillies game, but there was an NFL game going on. And let's just say there was some interesting stuff going on, okay? It's the Cowboys. The Cowboys are always going to generate a lot of buzz and attention. Chargers, they draw attention for being poorly run and having a home field disadvantage, much alike their counterpart, the Rams. So this video that is playing right now, guys, is and for those listening, there was a fan that was captured on Monday Night Football's telecast in a Los Angeles Chargers jersey. Looks to be brand new, stitched up, authentic. Just going crazy. It's a 3-second loop here. It's not much, but I just want to show you guys what we're talking about here. Now, there are rumors out there that this is the NFL's plant. One of their paid actors to I haven't thought about this too much right now, so I'll think out loud, but it kind of does make sense because, just looking back the other day when Sharif and I were talking about previewing this game, I had mentioned the home field disadvantage and not having a very strong home field. So I guess the NFL has this idea. It's like, well, why don't we pay this lady some money, give her some new threads, and just have her go fucking ape shit with the celebrations. Like, oh, you don't think the Chargers have loyal fans? Watch this. So the top one, as you can see it, she's clenching her fist. She's showing her teeth like a dog who just stole the steak bone from the table and you try to get it back, showing the teeth. I mean, let's get a good freeze grab on that one right here. That's not bad. So yeah, our girls definitely showing some emotion there, and you gotta wonder, is this a paid performance or is this true passion for the game? I don't think she's that passionate. I don't think football's that big of a deal in LA, and then to have one fan like, gimme, come on, yeah, come on, gimme. As Brendan Schaub says on the Fighter and the Kid podcast, I have skeptical hippo eyes. I am not really finding that one too easy to believe, but you know what? We're gonna have to roll with it, right? So Just thought that was interesting. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. You'll never catch one of these paid actor accusations, excuse me, going on at a Philadelphia sports event, but nevertheless, um, pretty fun little story here, I thought, in the MMA world. For those of you who don't know, I think he's a flyweight, maybe a bantamweight. I think he's a flyweight. Tim Elliott in the UFC. Awkward MMA is his Instagram. I know that he's a very unconventional fighter, hence the name Awkward. Um, but he had a really weird thing come up in the MMA news media recently, where he was getting married to a female fighter who he trained with and got to know and fell in love with and all that. And I believe, let me pull up the story here to make sure. Um James Krause, Kevin Groom. So his name's James Krause. Not James Krause. That's the coach. God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. Let's what's his name? Tim Elliott, Kevin Groom. Let's just get the story right, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that Tim and Gina were to get married, and on the night of the wedding, Tim found Gina sleeping with Kevin, his teammate. So it's a pretty wild story, to say the least. And yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find the exact story now, but it's a pretty weird situation. Um, a pretty public divorce. Let's see. Public divorce from UFC fighter Gina Mazzani. Earlier this month, Elliott revealed that his former wife and close friend had an affair throughout the relationship, including their wedding night. Yep, see, I was right. All that weed, guys, I'm telling you, it does a lot of damage to me, but we're still pretty well intact, if I do say so myself. Aftermath featured viral publicity and overwhelming support from the MMA community. Okay. I'm not in quotes from Tim. I'm not a guy who likes to air my dirty laundry, but I was in a bad way. It's obvious I'm doing much better now. Literally, one of my best friends comes over and plays with my daughter. My daughter, she would just randomly say, "Hey, can Kevin Kroom come over and play?" I'd invite the guy to come over and play with my kid and Gina, and I really loved her. She was my best friend, the mother to my child for 6 years. So his best friend, I mean, this is just nightmare stuff. Not only are they teammates and best friends, but just a really brutal situation. Um, so that's kind of the background information on that. So then a story to piggyback off that is Tim Elliott is sponsoring Tony Soto for his upcoming bare knuckle fighting championship fight against Kevin Kroom. Coincidentally, Kevin Kroom is the man who we found cheating on his wife with. So now he is sponsoring a fighter in hopes that he will knock out that guy. Uh, it's a pretty MMA story for you. That doesn't sum up the sport that I love. I don't know what does, but definitely a strange story. This one's dark and weird, and I don't know how much credibility we can give to it, but Britney Spears says that Justin Timberlake got her pregnant in 2000, but they agreed to an abortion. Murder. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Weird story, but if it's true, look at these two in the early 2000s, guys. Was there anyone that had it more going on than Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake? And the fact that there might have been an offspring out there that we'll just never know the untapped potential, unfortunately. Right. So I think that kind of goes over the Twitter current events. I think Instagram had a couple juicy little things here. Sure did. All right. We love these little Hood's Finest posts on Instagram. And this one is a United States mom is going viral for a babysitter ad and what she expected to have out of her babysitter. So, we remember the ones for a girl date, her checklist, and how I would fare with her. Well, now we got a mom and a babysitter ad. So let's just say tomorrow I get fired from my job and, I'm desperate to make some money and I don't really want to do the 9 to 5 right now. I'm a little, whatever. And I go on Craigslist, I see a little ad, and Oh wow, a babysitter. Like when I was younger, I used to babysit. I love kids. I get along with them. I'm funny. I still have a kid mind, so it's a natural fit, right? I got some experience doing it. My sister's kids growing up, I would always hang out with them, play with them. So it was just it's a natural fit. Oh my god, babysitter ad, let's go. So I'm logging on. Babysitter needed ASAP. Wow, great. I need someone to watch my kids. Four kids. They're 2, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, right away I'm like, oh, that's a little dicey. I don't know if I could handle four kids, especially that young. Like if it's two 6-year-olds, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old, we're good. A 2 and a 3 plus a 5 and then a 7. Like I'm okay, fine. Let's gloss over it. But I said noon to 6, not exactly 9 to 5, but noon to. I could work out in the morning. I could do some meal prep. I could. Okay, all right, yeah, okay, okay. You know what? I think I can do this, guys. Occasional weekends. Man, I love my weekends, but if like it's I bring my fire stick over and I could hang out with the kids, get them tired out, and then maybe put the football games on or try to get them into football. Okay, like we can. This might be able to work. Let's see what they want. Must be a great cook and an avid cleaner. Of course, like I understand that. You want someone at your house cleaning? Cool. Over 25. Okay, I'm good. Minimum education, master's degree. All right. We're out. Um Now where okay, so like on one hand, I guess the lady's thinking, how hard the job market is these days. Okay, they just graduated, they did a little internship, they're doing some stuff, but it's not really the kind of thing where they found a job very easily, right? So maybe they got a master's degree and they're looking. So yeah. On the other hand, it's like, bitch, what kind of person do you think would have a master's degree that's looking to babysit four kids from 2 to 7 years old from noon to 6? And we didn't get to the money yet, but we'll get there. No social media accounts. In parentheses, I don't need my kids seeing that. Okay, well, where are your kids going to see that? Do they have an iPad? Well, that's your fault, right? So now I can't have a social media because you don't want your kids seeing it, but where are the kids going to see me at? How are they going to find my name? Pork belly pot roast? You think they're going to find that? It's private. Okay. Do I need to delete my Instagram? You know what? You make some good points, Frank. I think okay, you can have your social media. It's no problem. But your master's degree, like you have an associate's? You're a fucking loser, dude. Well, like I started off in New Jersey. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I did some classes, but when I moved down to Florida, my credits didn't transfer and I had a really long layoff. But I'm really proud of myself. My credits, some of them didn't transfer, so I had to take even more courses to finish it. But I still did it. That's got to count for something, right? No. Okay. Well, no drinking, smoking, not even vaping. Okay, so drinking legal, but I understand that. Smoking, totally get that. Vaping, bruh, I'm not a vapor and I don't really condone the vaping or advocate for it, but they got like these tremendous flavors now. Like when guys come on my work truck and I see they have a vape or they just fit the profile of someone who vapes. I'm just like, brother, if you got a vape, feel free to blow the clouds freely. Like, let's go. Cause I sometimes have guys with wicked BO or just horse breath or just other characteristics that aren't ideal. So I'm like, hey guys, blow away. So we get the cotton candy and the watermelon straw, like just all the flavors. So maybe she'd be open to that. No tattoos or piercings, just absolutely ridiculous. A girl can't have a fucking memoriam to her mom. Like, need 5 professional references, background check, and drug test. Okay, are we done here? So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 dashes, but it's not 8 stipulations. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus 5 references, plus the drug test. I just spit so much on my laptop. Plus background check and drug test. Drum roll, please. This job pays $200 a week, and you must have own transportation to get to and from while also running all my errands. Her name is Tammy. Sounds about right. So you're like Gary Tonin, a big MMA fighter, broke it down here for us. I guess it's about $6 an hour to watch four kids. Uh, while you can't be pierced or tattooed, you can't drink, you smoke, you can't vape, you can't have a social media account, you must have a master's degree, you must be over 25 years old, and you must be a good cook and cleaner. You can't do any drugs, you better have a clean background check, and you better have 5 professional references. Is anybody interested for $200 a week? So yeah, that was one thing I found pretty funny. A little role play scenario I got to play with Miss Tammy there, looking for a job. But Tammy, I'm good. Fuck you. An Atlanta man snuck away from a restaurant after his date ate 48 oysters as an appetizer. Uh, that's the story. In a hypothetical world, if you're on a first date with a nice young lady, how many oysters does she have to eat for you to walk away? Um, my question to you would be, well, what does this lady look like? What does she act like? What are her hobbies and interests? Maybe she was really hungry. Maybe she hasn't had oysters in a long time and she was binging. Maybe you made her feel so comfortable with the conversation that she just felt like she could eat without judgment. I don't know. Uh, I'm gonna give Homegirl a chance. Let's be honest, we're not exactly getting the door knocked down with suitors for love for your boy here. So beggars can hardly be choosers, but I'll still choose and it's fine. California bottomless brunch restaurants are charging vomit fees. I stand behind this. Several California restaurants have introduced a $50 vomit fee for customers who cannot control their alcohol consumption during bottomless mimosa brunches. Kitchen Story, an Oakland restaurant, posts a warning sign that patrons will be charged $50 for vomiting in a public area to cover cleaning costs. 50 seems a bit steep, but you got to prove a point. A similar policy is in place at Home Plate in San Francisco, which offers a 75-minute bottomless mimosa deal and charges $50 for any incident, in quotes, resulting from intoxication. Do you think this is a fair policy? Absolutely, I do. As a former restaurant patron and worker, I had to participate in about a year's worth of endless mimosa Sundays. You know, this is my problem with the restaurant industry and just a lot of people in general. You bring somebody new on, I came just, I'll admit, I'm probably tooting my own horn here a little bit, but I know what I bring to the table and my work ethic and my creative ideas and such, right? So that's a ratchet strap belt, by the way. In restaurants, I just constantly had good little ideas that I thought would be innovative and help with efficiency and streamline efficiency. I was just trying to be as proficient as possible, get things done in the quickest manner so that people would have to wait the least amount of time because I know what it's like, guys. Why do you think I bring this fucking vessel to every restaurant I go to? It's because I've had enough dumbass fucking waitresses and waiters leave me stranded on Water Island here for 20 minutes where I'm just nursing like one ice cube and a fucking tiny little goldfish sip of water here because you're too dumb to refill me. Okay. The other night, I took my parents out to a nice, beautiful Italian restaurant. I footed the bill, quite pricey, and it's always a time to tip, and it's like, oh, 20%. As someone who worked in a restaurant, you really make it a point to show the people who go above and beyond, hey, I appreciate you. You're fucking good. I had this drop dead gorgeous Latino waitress. I don't know where. She was tremendous. Greeted us, read us specials, was so detail oriented. I was a little, I'm not going to say embarrassed, but this is one of the few times where I didn't bring in my own water vessel. So I was really making this beautiful young lady work for her money, unfortunately. And it wasn't by any intention. It was just I drink a lot of water, I stay hydrated, and sorry. So after about 4 or 5 refills, she brings me my own beautiful personal glass pitcher full of ice. A little gesture like that, guys, can take you from a 20% tip to a 35% tip. And the more you spend, the more you tip, right? So let's just say our little princess was taken care of very nicely. Sorry, I put her on a card, so yeah, you're gonna get taxed on it, but you know what? Uncle Sam's getting his piece. You're gonna come here. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, this just brings me back to the mimosa thing. When I was working in a restaurant, mimosas, obviously morning, afternoon, early afternoon, you're not getting a wine crowd, right? So restaurants have all different rocks glasses and Collins and highball and flutes and martini glasses and coupes and shot glasses and beer glasses and red wine and white wine and just all different variations of glasses. So after doing a bunch of these endless mimosa days in a row, Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, and this was like, it was a very small period in my life where I was working Sundays. The Sherwin-Williams paint days where I was slinging that paint, bringing my laptop to work. Famously, that Green Bay Packers Dallas Cowboys playoff game, the Dez Bryant maybe not catch. I was watching that at work, but I've been privileged enough, if you want to call it that, to not work Sundays, and I really cherish that. But when I was working at the old Gather restaurant, we worked a lot of Sundays and did our endless mimosas. So I'm just a man who likes to put his hand on the pulse of the nation and kind of figure out and anticipate the customer needs, right? So I start doing these endless mimosa days, and it starts off by it's just me and my soon to be sister-in-law Eva. We would work the breakfast shifts, and one of us would come in at 7 a.m., open the restaurant, get everything ready, and then the other one would come in like 8:30. So the first one gets 3-4 tables, great. Problem was, this wasn't just like a normal restaurant. It was we had like a fantastic espresso machine behind the bar. So we would have a hotel next to us and a restaurant next to us. They'd be coming in and ordering their coffee drinks from us. Your boy was kind of an ignoramus when he started with the coffee because I don't just like drinks. I didn't drink anything. I didn't know what like a Cabernet was. I didn't know what a I didn't know anything. So people were asking me for like macchiatos and Americano. I had no idea. And to this day, I've worked at very high volume cocktail bars with each cocktail that comes in is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ingredients, and we're getting 20 tickets deep, 3, 4 cocktails on each. You do them. I mean, it was absurd, but I've never felt more in the weeds than when I would have a fucking breakfast crowd swarm in the restaurant, and then I'd have walk-ins ordering coffee drinks, and it was all these basic blank bitches that would come up. I need a caramel macchiato with almond milk, and I need 3 pumps of this and 4 pumps of this and a soy rim. It's like, what? So I was overwhelmed. I was flummoxed. Thank God Eva had her PhD in coffee drinks and would be able to bail me out. But so what I'm getting at here is you'd have a lot of different things going on at once, obviously. And I started noticing this trend like, okay, why don't we pre-make these in pitchers? So you go around and do them in pitchers. So we started doing that. Great. My big problem was you're still pouring them into these little dumb champagne flutes, which are so small. And when you have endless bottomless drinks, what does it matter what the vessel is, right? They're drinking them, they're paying for it. Like, let them go nuts. So I had this idea to start, not red wine glasses, but I remember like one of my really good regulars came in and they were always there and they would do their endless mimosas. And 10, I think it was $12 or whatever. So instead of pouring her one flute and then having to come back in 5 minutes and refill it and then refill it, I started giving this broad a big red wine glass that was gigantic. You pour a ton in there, and she don't need to be checked on as far as a refill for fucking her man would drink one coffee and one water. It was easy, but she would slug these things down. So I had to really, so that's when I started. Okay, let me put them in a red wine glass. Then other people started seeing it and asking, oh, well, she's a VIP. She gets a red wine, but I can get you a white wine glass. So I started doing that. Tips were fucking trim. And it's like, if you went out to a restaurant and you were like, hey, I'm going to do this bottomless mimosa, and you're used to getting these flutes that are pictured on my screen here. And then you get your server come up and you're like, hey, I know they're bottomless, right? So why not put them in a bigger vessel and you don't need to get them refilled as often? And people fucking loved it, man. They ate it up. But of course, my power hungry manager saw to it that she needed to squash that. And not only that, but my mimosas were too light. They needed to be darker, which meant more orange juice and less champagne. Bro, we're getting bottom of the barrel, cheapest champagne possible, pouring them in pitchers. Are you really going to nickel and dime over fucking a shade of orange here? She did. It got squashed, so I just thought that was a funny little parallel that I probably could have induced some of these vomit fees on some of my customers, unfortunately. But just trying to make you just trying to make you grateful and appreciative, Um This one was cute because I do it every day, and I'm sure most of you do. It's not like a crowning achievement, but positive stuff. Study says making your bed makes you 206% more likely to become a millionaire. Well, this study is has met its match, if you will. I'm the anti 206%. How about that? How about guys that make their beds every day and still live with their parents? Is that like, do they have a list for that? No? Okay. Researcher Randall Bell studied the habits of the rich and found that if you make your bed each morning, you are 206% more likely to become a millionaire. It changes your frame of reference that carries out throughout the day. That when there's a job to be done, you're going to get it done, he said. He also found that the rich read 30 or more minutes a day. Guys, it's crazy. I got all the qualities of these rich people, except I don't have the money. Um, 30 minutes or more a day and wake up 3 hours before their workday officially begins. Okay, I don't work. I start working at around 7:38 and I'm up at about 5. Fuck yeah. Now, most of these millionaires aren't up at 5 a.m. due to dietary reasons and shitting their brains out every morning. But you know what? I'm gonna call a spade, and I think I'm gonna make it, guys. To be honest, I think you're gonna see me on that Forbes list one day. There's just too many signs and there's too many corollaries where I'm like, you know what? Something's got to add up. Um, share the screen real quick of a little moment from the Dillon Danis Logan Paul. This was the okay. So I said he tried to land the guillotine or put the guillotine on him, and then he tried to do a hammer fist. It actually did land. So this video is just incredible because it's the aftermath, guys, and this we're gonna let this restart here because this is incredible. And then there's videos of Jake Paul right there. Okay, so here we go. Logan throws a little check hook, misses. Dillon goes to the guillotine, tries to pull guard, gets hammer punched from his back. And then Dillon comes in. The security guard rushes Dillon. Dillon throws a wild looping left hook, completely misses. And then we have Jake Paul coming in, who's had multiple fights. And look at him. He gets in the ring and watch him start looking around. Wait, what? Just tremendous stuff right there. Really pathetic, as Tom DeBlass said, and I can second that. It's a mockery for the big boxing fans out there that this is what people are going to associate boxing with now, like younger kids. My nephew, him and his friends are probably watching like, oh, boxing's on. This is not boxing, guys. But yeah, fun stuff. Something that really caught my attention. Look at this, guys. Look at this. The Coctagon. So it's a porta potty, 8-sided, 8 urinals, 8 dicks, one mission: drain that bladder, the urinal. So really good idea, coming to a city near you. In memoriam, rest in peace to this beautiful soul, Suzanne Summers. I was a big fan of Step by Step and Three's Company, and she was tremendous. Not much to be said. She was a beautiful woman, a beautiful soul, and the 80s and kids or whatever, they had their Suzanne Summers. Like we had our Britney Spears before everything else happened. So just want to shout her out. Rest in peace. Disappointed mom shares her son's modified school picture she never requested. So we got young homie on the left here. Shape up looks fantastic. Smiles great. Looks good. They photoshopped him dimples, it looks like, and teeth. So that's cool. A mom has gone viral on TikTok after she received her son's school photographs. Shocked to see that the photos have been edited to give him veneers and dimples. They sure did. The mother revealed in the video that she'd emailed the school asking for the original photos and later decided to also publicly share a video of her preparing her son for picture day, including a $100 haircut early before school. Yeah, the first comment I see is anyone else kind of blown away by the $100 haircut, or is that just me? I am 100% with you. That seems a bit insane. Another commenter said, whitewashed him a little bit. Oh my God. So yeah, he didn't deserve that, but I'm just looking out for his teeth, I guess. I'm not gonna get too much into this right now because I don't have enough information on me. But I don't know how many golf fans are out there. The OWGR, the official golf world rankings. They're getting some more flack this week because none of the live guys are going to get any credibility on their rankings, and it's a double-edged sword here. I can see the one side where they can deal with that. they knew going over to live, they were taking more money, they were losing out on the prestige of being in the PGA, and there was things that were going to go with that. Now, if you would have told me the guy who won, I think 4 events, I don't know how many he won, I think 3 or 4 events this year. He's not going to be eligible to play in any of the majors next year. I think that's crazy. I think the sport needs to be more predicated on its fans and less on the big wigs up top. And when you do stuff like this, all you're doing is robbing the fans. I want to watch a major tournament where you have all the PGA best guys going at it, but then you got Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson and Cam Smith and Taylor Gooch. You're going to tell me you don't want to see them competing with the likes of Scotty Scheffler and Ricky Fowler and Justin Thomas and Adam Scott and John Rahm? Like, I want to see all those guys competing against each other. Tyrrell Hatton, Xander Schauffele, Victor Hovland. These guys should be all under one umbrella, and on one hand, I can kind of understand the live thing. People are upset, but you look at the Saudi Arabian money guys, it's endless. And if they want to start monopolizing some sporting stuff and putting up their money talks. We all see that every day with politics and religion and sports. Money is the great benefactor. And unfortunately, these live guys I think are getting kind of shafted, but it shows you right here. Taylor Gooch made 123 starts in the PGA on the PGA Tour and made 9.7 million. He made 13 starts in live and made 33 million. So what do you play for is my main question. Like, if you just care about the money, you won, bro. Like, you did it. If you were playing for the prestige and the all-time rankings and the fanfare, you're kind of going to have a tough time, I'm going to think, because PGA is what it is. I'm a fan, but I like both. I follow both. I watch live tournaments. I think they're exciting. I just like good golf. If this league has 10 good golfers, I'm going to watch that league because I enjoy good golf, The format, I understand, playing 3 days as opposed to 4, not having a cut. I get it. There's some things you can have some issues with, but overall, it's better for the sport to have more leagues going on with more competition. And eventually one day, hopefully it'll all be under one umbrella and we can all get this going. But for right now, I think that's kind of silly, personally. We already got the plant. We already covered the NFL plant. This one's near and dear to my heart.
Make it a parlay. All right, I got Raiders over Patriots.
Raiders over Patriots.
I got the Jets over Eagles.
Oof, Jets over Eagles.
Bills over New York Giants.
Bills over the Giants.
Over Tampa Bay.
Lions over Tampa.
Rams over Cardinals.
Rams over Cardinals.
New York Liberty, the basketball team.
What? New York Liberty? The fuck is that? A WNBA team?
WNBA. New York
what?
Liberty.
Yeah, the WNBA. Over the Aces.
Yeah, make all of it a parlay.
All of it's a parlay.
Just bet.
So our boy here, Rashid, needed $10,000 to make bond and decided to bet the Rams, the Jets, the Raiders, the Liberty, the Bills, the Lions. A 6-team money line parlay, and cashed out for 13,466. He's on his way home today. Yeah. One of my best friends is constantly doing parlays, and he's actually a guy who's on this podcast pretty much weekly now during the football season. So gonna have to remind myself to ask him about his thoughts on that. But Rashid, stoked for you, bro, and I can't wait to see what you can do outside the pokey. See what kind of limitless potential you have there. We were on such a roll, guys. We didn't bring up, the favorite topic, but sorry. Last thing and we'll go. I think I'm in love, by the way. I found this article just on Yahoo the other day. It was one of the main articles on there, and I clicked it, and I was like, ooh, I'm saving this for the podcast. Haven't even read it yet. Headline: Using toilet paper is grosser than you think. Here's a better idea. Advice by Trisha Pasricha, MD. So now I have a doctor corroborating my claims. This feels good. Here we go. Question: I feel like I'm using the wrong toilet paper. Or what? I feel like I'm using the wrong toilet paper, or what am I using is too harsh on my skin. How should I be wiping after using the bathroom. Who the fuck would submit a question? What? Answer. Instead of wiping with toilet paper, try using a bidet. Bidets are gentle and hygienic. In fact, a 2022 study found that the hands of people who use bidets have profoundly fewer microbes than those who wipe. Vindicated. Researchers asked 32 nursing students in Japan to wear clean medical gloves when they used the bathroom to poop and subsequently examined those gloves to see what bacteria grew. People who wipe with toilet paper had an average of nearly 40,000 different viable bacteria attached to their gloves afterward. The bacteria on the gloves of the bidet users were reduced by almost tenfold. What? Wow. Okay. Albeit a small sample size, I see what I need to see, guys. The study was small, and more rigorous research is needed on the effects of using bidets compared with toilet paper. But as someone who's on hashtag Team Bidet, I've seen what a difference they can make in my patients' lives. This is incredible. I can't believe what I'm reading. I recommend them all the time for my patients with loose stools. Me too. I bought like 6 of them for friends. Like an irritable bowel syndrome who can find constant wiping makes their skin raw. Bidets are also excellent for anyone who might struggle with balance or coordination, reaching back to wipe, and especially fantastic for people with hemorrhoids, anal fissures, or those who are recovering from postpartum. Yikes, this got dark. Benefits of using a bidet. Bidets are not just better for your wallet. Think of how much more toilet paper your family breezes through each month. I've been saying this for fucking years, but they're better for the environment too. While you do waste 1/8 of a gallon of water per use with a bidet, your waste from toilet paper plummets. It takes about 1.5 pounds of wood and more than 6 gallons of water to produce just a single roll of toilet paper. Do you guys like hate trees and hate the environment? Like, I'm just all you guys that think it's gay to put water in your butt to clean it. Okay, well, I think it's gay to fucking murder trees. How about that? I get it though. It can be hard to get over the weirdness of trying a new thing in an area where you don't try new things often. Heard that. But once you experience that level of freshness, it becomes so intuitive that it's hard to go back to just plain wiping. Sister, all right, I gotta find this girl and get her on the podcast. No, this is it. There was a bit of learning curve when it comes to adjusting the water pressure. That's on God, sister. We've lost some prospects due to this very problem. And getting into all the nooks and crannies. And unless you've got a fancy bidet with a dryer, I do not. Christmas gift idea for any family members listening. You'll need to dab the area dry with a sheet of toilet paper or a clean towel. Or you can be like me and have the Hello Tushy branded Tushy wipes after that are dry little bamboo papers. Okay, whatever. To start using a bidet, you don't have to buy a whole new toilet. Toilet seat attachments cost around $50. You'll need to measure your toilet and think about the nearest outlet as you're making your purchasing decisions. What kind of toilet paper should I buy? Double ply Scott. What? Can't get into the idea of a bidet? You still can give your rear end at the tender, loving care it deserves by investing in toilet paper that is 2-ply or higher. You know what, guys? I was out on the Washington Post. I'm back in, subscribing. Toilet paper, I've been saying every fucking, and this is like beating a dead horse, but every time I go out of town, I go and I have to make a little messy mess. I always am just baffled by the scarcity of double ply, if you will, or the insanely commonality of single ply. I mean, what is it, guys? Is it the money? Is it like my sister and her family? They all said, "Well, it's bad." Like, it's how is it? No, it's not. When you were in elementary school, remember when you'd have to wipe your nose or go to the bathroom, how much you dread it? Or am I just this fucking autistic? Because our tissues were literally sandpaper, and I'd get all the little red things around my nose and just start having a nightmare. If I had to go to the bathroom, we're not even gonna. I had to like God, I'm realizing all the issues I have right now. And now you guys might understand why I'm so much more like obsessed with this butt thing. When I was younger and I had to go to the bathroom in elementary school, I remember one time somebody like hopped over my stall and looked down in it, and I was like scarred for life. So I always had teachers escort me to the bathroom. And I'm just now realizing that this was an actual thing in my life. I should probably end the show, but we're going to finish the article. Yeah, I got some problems. Ply refers to the number of layers per sheet. One ply is a single layer of tissue, while two ply is two layers glued together. Kind of a no-brainer, right? Those in favor of one ply paper argue that it's better for the environment as it's more easily dissolvable and kills fewer trees. But one ply is thinner and rougher on the skin, and people may bunch up an especially thick wad when confronted with one. Thank you. Last time I was out of town and I didn't have this sweet little water assist. It was the most one of the disgusting. And a note on flushable wipes. I do recommend them in certain situations, like for people with hemorrhoids or doing a bowel prep for a screen. But plush as they are, they're probably not actually flushable and should be discarded in the trash. Yep, that's if you put them in the toilet, unless you're like at some hotel or I don't give a fuck, but residential areas, guys, come on, let's be smart here. How to wipe after you pee. This is a really weird article. Men commonly don't wipe at all after urination. It probably isn't harmful to their health. There have been no studies proving as much. Girls, all right, I think we're good on this, right? How to wipe after your poop. Wiping can be harsh and abrasive to the delicate skin around your anus. While everyone's poop is different, and that is perfectly normal, if you are someone who has more frequent, softer stools, there's a chance you're wiping a lot. Guilty. So allow me to introduce you to the power of dabbing, my friends. Instead of wiping, gently pat any excess away onto the tissue to avoid irritating the skin or aggravating pesky hemorrhoids. Before flushing, close the toilet lid. You might be thinking the next step is to adjust your breeches and flush away. But what about the toilet lid? One study from 2012, I'm such an idiot. One study from 2012 found that bacteria C. difficile, probably didn't say that right, spread nearly 12-fold more during flushing when the lid was up. Okay, that's disgusting. Okay, I'm freaking out now. Even if it's your home bathroom, you probably don't want these aerosolized particles from the toilet landing on your toothbrush. I've had nightmares about this my whole life, but close the lid. Close the lid. It's the episode name. So now that you've touched wipes, the lid and the flush, wash your hands afterward. I'm sorry this has to be said, but you're not exempt if you use your foot to flush. Yep. It's the world we live in now where someone's got to tell you to wash your hands after you go dookie poo poo. I think that's pretty much it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I think I had some good little juice content on there. Oh, one last thing. We have a group chat, me, my brother Sharif, and Jason. It's amazing. It's every day just roasting each other. I wish you guys could see it, but on the other hand, if you saw it, probably wouldn't like me much. No, I'm just kidding. I am notorious for going to bed early unless it's baseball playoff season, like right now. And one night I went to bed early, woke up early, as I do, and the Nighthawks were out, sending messages, and I wake up the next morning to a bunch of messages to read, and my brother's just got some things to say, guys, and one of them was, I had a dream last night. Frank came out to me, and I rejected him. So I'll leave you guys with that. That's what my baby brother, who I'm desperately trying to maintain a friendship with, that's what he dreams about when it comes to his older brother. That I am coming out as gay to him, and he rejected me for so. So hope you guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in to Verbal Garbage. I'll see you next week. Peace.